Good. Is it your first time like talking about it properly?
Mm-hmm. I'm getting emotional.
Oh my gosh, no way.
Back in my day, I could go crazy. I used to be a crash out.
How deep in that realm were you?
I don't care where we are. We could be outside, we could be in the club. We're gonna talk about this right now.
She's won. This is amazing. It's a huge deal. It's the first black woman to Love Island UK.
Mm-hmm.
Huge, crazy deal.
I think getting out of my last relationship was when it was like, wow, this is history kind of repeating itself type of thing. They think I'm this way because of the clips that they've seen.
What does it mean to be a Christian girl, a woman of faith who is able to go on a show like Love Island?
I believe in God.
Mimi,
Hello.
how are you?
I'm good, how are you?
I'm good. I'm excited.
I'm excited.
Yeah.
It's an honor to be here.
Great. No, I'm really excited. I feel like we've been saying even before we started rolling, this is your first deep dive in this way. So we're gonna get to really know Mimi, which is the aim of the conversation.
Yeah.
So
We're gonna strip back a little bit.
okay, I love that. Just
a little bit. Not too much.
Okay. All right. So we're gonna start off with like a little game,
Mm.
just to loosen things up just ever so slightly. Called This or That. Very easy, quick fire. All right. Trust your gut or trust the process.
Ooh. Trust my gut, I think.
Okay. Known by many or known deeply?
Known by many.
Okay. Honest.
Oh, these are good. These are good.
Public love or private peace?
Private peace.
Reality TV fame or real life impact?
Real life impact.
Life before or life after Love Island?
Life after, in some ways.
Heels or trainers?
Ooh. Depends on the occasion.
Sweet tooth or savory cravings?
I'm so greedy when it comes to snacks. I need one of everything. But if I had to pick, probably savory.
Okay. Last one. Pause or keep it moving?
Pause and then keep it moving.
I like that. Good answer. All right, let's get into it. So I like to label each section kind of like a title, just to even get me in the frame of mind of, what we're talking about. And I titled this The Girl Before the Noise, just really understanding, you before we were introduced to you. You've come out, you won Love Island, superstar lady doing her thing, holiday here, brand deals here, just there's a lot going on. So I want to like strip back and just give us a moment to really understand who Mimi was before the world met her. How would you describe that?
I'd say keeps to herself, but keeps the people she loves close to her. Love a family oriented girl. And on her walk with the Lord. Well, starting
At that point.
Yeah.
Okay. And what was I kind of want to know what that quieter, because it was a lot quieter before you won the show. So what was that quieter life? What did that look like on like a day to day? What were you getting up to? Were you going to? I think you were finishing.
Yeah.
School.
Yeah.
No, school.
Nursing.
Nursing. Yeah.
So that was kind of like end of my training, but it was like my final placement. So my mind was just getting this done, being done with it so I can like know what I want to do afterwards. Because I had loads of ideas of what I wanted to do, whether I wanted to go into like forensic children's, like have you watched Adolescence?
Oh, the show.
Yeah.
Is it on Channel 4?
Netflix.
Damn.
About the boy that...
Yeah. I've seen the stuff on socials, but I haven't actually watched it.
So part of me wanted to go down that route. Other parts of me wanted to go down like therapy, like become a therapist. So I just wanted to get the degree done so then I could lock in terms of what I wanted to do. Love Island was more of a thing where I was in the process, but I didn't expect it to go anywhere. Like if I was to get on, fine. If I'm not, fine. Because either way, I'm good either way. So Yeah, I was just in my grind season. Also, very prayerful then, like every day. Trying to get through that placement was tough.
Really? What was tough about it?
It's just very demanding. You're working 37.5 hours a week.
Oh, is it like you're in school, but then you're also doing placements type of?
So the placement is like it's graded. So like it's part of your final grade. And as like a final year student, you're kind of expected to act as the nurse. So it was a lot, but I enjoyed it, but it was just quite demanding. Like I didn't know if this was like what I would want to do for the rest of my life, you know?
Okay. And in that time, I remember watching your vlog. I'm not going to jump too much into this, but in that time that you were kind of just finishing school, but then you were also like preparing to kind of go on Love Island, right? What was the thought process you had behind applying to be on the show?
It was actually off a whim. Like I had a situation before which was very much character building, and like I think it was at a point in my life where I was like, okay, am I going to be in the cycle for the rest of my life, or am I going to remove myself and like try something else? So I was like, you know what, let me just see. And then I applied in like September, went about my life, didn't hear anything till January. So it was like, it wasn't in my forefront until like the new year came. And that was the first year I actually went to church on New Year's.
Okay.
So
the year that you applied?
So I applied in the August, didn't hear anything. Then January, that's when I think it was like that week or the week after that, I got the call from Love Island.
Amazing.
And then again, I was just like, because I wasn't sure, but I was like, this is the opportunity. Like, I would be silly not to. So I took it, but I was still in the mind frame of whatever happens. I didn't have expectations of like what would happen because I thought I'd be like gone in like the first week, you know?
It's interesting because I was telling you earlier that I had a conversation with two of your friends, and one thing that one of them especially said that is that from when you guys were young, they always kind of saw you as the one who was favored. Like you had this sense of like favor. You just walked as though you were highly favored, and they just knew that you were the Mimi that was going to take us out of the hood. That's literally what she said. She was like, she's going to be the one that's going to take us out of the hood.
Oh my gosh.
How do you feel about that? Is that something that you also see in yourself, that sense of someone who's favored?
I don't know, you know, because I feel like growing up, I've always been someone that's into like the creative space of like performing arts or like modeling. I'd have interest in that, but it wasn't ever like a burning desire to fulfill it. I'd be told like all the time, well, you can model and stuff, but it's like, thanks, but I don't know, you know? So I don't know, you know, that's a good question.
Okay. We're going to unpack it a bit more. So I want to take it down a little bit. Now let's go into family life and, you know, the upbringing side of things. What was your home environment like growing up? What was that situation like for you?
Grew up, my parents were together, and then two siblings after me, so I'm the oldest. My parents split when I was 16. Yeah, like final year of secondary school. That was probably like a hard time for us. I feel like that's when, you know, I kind of had to grow up a little bit quicker. But yeah, supporting my mum and stuff. And then, yeah, I feel like I've always been closest to my mum. She's like the prayerful mum. Like she's like she's prayer warrior.
Yeah.
So I feel like I've always felt that kind of protection because my mum would always make sure that I'm good. Like she encouraged me to do my driving as soon as I turned 17, go to uni. Like she's always been like my rock, I guess.
How would you describe her?
I'm getting emotional.
Oh my gosh, no way. Memes, can we get some tissue? Really? At the thought of your mom? That is amazing. Let's unpack that a little bit. So let's talk about your mum a little bit more. Clearly, she's someone that you love deeply. So let's talk about what it was like, just what that difference was like being with your mum when it was like a 2-parent household, and then the difference between the mum that you experienced when it was a 1-parent household.
I think she's always been strong anyway. But it was hard watching her go through that. because obviously growing up, they show you like that side of them. But she still kind of like did her job as a mum. So it's just nice. It's nice to like see her now because I can tell like she's out of that hurt. But yeah.
You're doing so good. You're doing so good. Is it your first time like talking about it properly? Wow. Do you feel like prior to this conversation, like you've processed it, like that period of your life?
I feel like I process things in a way of like I think to myself, but it's never like speaking it out, you know? But yeah.
Wow. Let's let me get you some more tissue. Yeah.
Yes, please. Sorry.
It's all good. You're all good.
Thank you.
Good. It's a very deep feeling. Yeah. And it's so crazy because being nearly 40, I'm still dealing with that trauma, and people feel like it's something that you just
heal
from.
Yeah.
Quite hard to relate to people.
They don't get it.
They don't know the familiar with the abandonment that comes with it and the struggle that comes with it, and you're still dealing with the repercussions even years on because it rearranges your mindset.
Yeah.
So we're on survival.
Is that something that you relate to? That sense
being on survival?
Not even the survival part, but just the shift, like because earlier when you were talking about, there was like a point where you had to like grow up like quite quickly from 16. Like, is that something that you relate to? Like something that you felt like you had to? It changed a lot about you.
In a sense, it kind of. It's the thing where like I am the way that I am now because I kind of understand that people are the way that they are because of what they experience.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm quite graceful when it comes to people because I just know that like things happen because of what you've been through, you know?
Yeah.
In that sense, yeah, but also try not to repeat patterns that I saw in my mum as well is something that I still am working on because that grace is why like my parents' relationship was on and off until it obviously was finally over. So that grace that she had for my dad is kind of what I have as well. So it's, I don't know.
That's interesting. Because I remember you spoke about this like very loosely in a conversation, like in another interview, and I was like, wow, that's so heavy. But the way you said it was like a very like it was a throwaway.
Yeah, I don't like going into
no, I can imagine
depth like with stuff like that because it is deep, but people take it very lightly when in reality that shapes someone, you know,
deeply, especially when you're talking about being able to see, you know, you were just saying right now that you could see like certain elements of yourself, like or certain elements of your mum showing up in yourself. And I remember in the conversation that you were having, you then said that was what led you to wanting to go to church at that point. Before we even get to that side of things, what was the stuff that you could see or you could see about yourself that was showing up that you kind of saw as a pattern that you were like maybe seeing in your mum?
So like staying in situations that don't serve me anymore for longer than I need to. Making excuses for people's behaviour. I do that a lot because I'm trying to understand. Like I'm very much the way I think, if someone does something, I want to understand why. Do you know what I mean? But it's not always for me to know why. It's kind of what I kind of still trying to figure out to this day. Yeah.
When was the first time you like saw that in yourself? When was the first time that you were like, this is something I've seen, this is a pattern here?
I think getting out of my last relationship was when it was like, wow, this is history kind of repeating itself type of thing, you know? But again, stuff like that, I'm grateful that I experienced them because it's now whilst I'm young, like I'm not going to carry that on for like the rest of my life. Yeah, I'd say that's when.
And what did you do when you recognized it in yourself? What was like the initial?
That's when I like had to get on my knees and start praying because I just didn't want to repeat for the rest of my life. Like imagine having kids in a situation like this, like, you know?
Did you have a conversation with your mum about that pattern? Was it, or did you just take it to God and it was like...
No, I just took it to God. I wouldn't want her to blame herself or something like that, you know? But yeah, that's when I started going to church and then praying more, like with intention. Because you know when you grow up knowing God, but you don't have that relationship, you just prayed the normal, like, thank you for the house, like that. But when I started going to church and like actually speaking to him like he was my friend, or like speaking to him like
Like a father.
Like an actual father. That's when it kind of shifted for me, I think.
How would you say it shifted?
In terms of like, I felt like I was able to have a clear mind and clarity, like answer questions that for myself rather than seeking them.
When you say seeking them, what do you mean? Seeking them from other people?
Yeah.
Or... Okay.
Like, you know.
And where it was like more of a direct conversation between you and God, him saying, do this, do this. So can you, if you're comfortable to, what were in that, because I guess it was like a healing process for you, right? So, you know, you have this huge ha-ha moment, like, wait a second, there's a pattern repeating itself. Okay, I need help that's beyond like my own capacity to give to myself. You seek after the Lord and he's giving you direction. Like what were the practical things that you kind of saw taking place, or the practical direction you felt you were given?
I feel like before I'd feel very anxious about things. When I started to like sense that things, I wouldn't feel anxious about having certain conversations or like understanding something. That was my kind of peace to knowing, okay, this is from God, like this is God's trying to
direct me,
like tell me like it's not scary anymore. Do you know what I mean? I don't know if that makes sense.
It does. Let's break it down so I'm actually making sense of it in my mind. So it's like you're told this thing that you're scared of isn't as scary as you think it is. So you have like more peace on situations that you wouldn't have like peace around.
Like the anxiety feeling that you feel wouldn't be there. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I get you. And is that something that you, not to even, because I know the way God works, it's not like there's like it takes 3 months for this to happen or da-da-da. But when you think about the timeline, what was that like for you? You have this realization, you go to church, you start to build this your own genuine relationship with God, you start to hear things, you start to heal in a deep way, and then you apply for Love Island?
I had applied the year before that.
Okay.
But I was in the process, but it wasn't from the get-go, like I was more so like, if it happens, it happens. It wasn't something I was taking like it's gonna happen, you know? So yeah, the Love Island stuff kind of got more real as the time went on. So this was like when I started going to like church pop and stuff was end of November. And then the Love Island stuff started getting more real like March.
Okay. Wow. And then
because it's a long process, like you get your initial call and then you have a Zoom audition and then you have to answer all these like questionnaires and then that's when you potentially meet the producers, but then there's like loads of steps in between that it's like you don't know until you actually get there.
I was actually I took a long time watching your vlog about it, like the process, and I'm so happy you did that. I don't know if you've watched it back.
Right?
It's so...
Do you know what? I'm so happy I did that as well, because that stuff like that is what I'd watch on repeat, like when I was thinking about going on.
Because it's so good, and and I love that. I mean, obviously it was very genuine because it was your process. Like you were literally taking people on that ride, on that journey, and you could see the excitement kind of exploding more as it became real.
Yeah.
Because initially, I remember there was one part of the video that cracked me up because you were like, boy, in Jesus' name, in Jesus' name, like, in Jesus' name, I'm gonna... And then towards the end, you were a lot more. You were just like very like, okay, if this is gonna happen, is it getting real? It's getting real. There was a continuous like change in energy towards it. So it's officially been about a year now. Would you say it's been about a year? It's nearly a year since you've officially won. Knowing the process that it's kind of taken for you to get up to this point, how do you feel kind of looking at everything a little bit more holistically?
In awe, to be honest, because even like in the year, it's still even been like a roller coaster of emotions. But to sit back now and reflect, like when I see, Snap memories this time last year, I had a dinner with my friends like yesterday, this time last year, and to tell them that I was going. Yeah, so it's just like, whoa. Life comes at you fast.
That's amazing.
But yeah.
Do you feel, knowing again the transition, because I think it's very interesting that, you had this understanding that, okay, there's patterns here, there's something that I need to like really, really work on. And then it's kind of like you almost thrusted yourself into a world that will almost force you to face love very head on, maybe even before you had actually healed from what you needed. Do you get what I mean? What do you think?
I feel like wait, what do you
so mean? Like so you go on a show like Love Island, right? And you're someone who you just had, not just had, but like you had a realization about yourself and you were starting to work on it, and you were finding it was you were starting to heal, like you were doing better, but then you put yourself on a show like Love Island, which is a show that is like heavily focused on love, and it kind of forces you to face something that you've almost just healed from. Do you get what I mean?
Yeah.
That was almost like a testing ground. I'm sure it wasn't like I don't know if it was like an intentional thing. Like you're like, you know what, I feel like I'm ready for this. If that love is on that show, I'm ready for this. I've done the work. Or was it more of like an afterthought when you got there and, you know, things are taking place? Or even now that you're like, I actually pushed myself into an environment that I had just finished healing from, or like just started.
I've never actually looked at it in that way, you know,
to heal
but
from.
that makes a lot of sense. I feel like maybe unintentionally, or it was part of God's plan for me to face like a situation in the show, like a couple situations in the show, to test how I can deal with it, or like if I've healed, or if I'm on my way to healing. Yeah, because in there you literally have to just face your feelings front. Like normally on the outside world, like I'd avoid that at all costs. So I feel like having to actually deal with it and no escape, nowhere to run, was what I needed.
And coming back now, especially from this point, actually, if we're being real, how would you rate how you did? Not necessarily like on the show, but if we're thinking about the different journeys that you've had to go on, the healing, the recognizing like the patterns that you had, and then seeing the experiences, the two experiences that you had on there, how would you now, because like you said, you haven't thought about this, how would you now say you did?
I feel like I would probably do everything that I did the same as I would today, to an extent. I think I was very patient in that environment. And one thing I like is the fact that I wasn't acting out. Like before, back in my day, I could go crazy.
Back in my
crazy day. Back in my friends will know exactly what I'm talking about. Like I used to be a crash out.
Really?
Yeah. So I feel like having that time to like really think about things helped me to kind of be like, take things easy, like breathe, you know, think about things first, think about how you feel. Because before it would be like impulse, like I'll just crash out. Yeah. So yeah, I feel like in that sense is I can tell that I had changed or like healed, because everyone thinks I've always been that way. No.
I mean, as I'm even hearing this, I'm surprised. I'm like, are you sure?
No, guys.
That's a big change.
That's God.
Wait, can we let's even deep it some more, right? You're talking, tell me, to what extent are we talking? Like you're crashing out to the point of you're cussing someone out, you're being very direct. How deep in that realm were you?
Like, I'd have to have an answer for why you're behaving like this here and there. Like, I don't care where we are. We could be outside, we could be in the club. We're going to talk about this right now.
Whereas now
it's like, noted, okay, back off a little bit. Let me breathe, let me think, and then we'll talk.
That's amazing.
It's crazy, but it's just so much more peaceful that way, I think. Because crashing out, you always regret the crash out.
Especially because more time you'll find that regardless of how that person reacts, the way you're acting is what's
they're just gonna, and as well, like your point gets missed as soon as you
100%
as soon as you crash out. So
let's talk about life post Love Island. So you've won this huge gigantic show. How was that? How was winning? Because from our perspective, viewers, it's like, oh my gosh, she's won. This is amazing. It's a huge deal. It's the first Black woman to win Love Island UK. Huge, crazy deal. But for you, what was that like internally?
It was, you know what, like life-changing.
Yeah.
First of all, obviously. But I feel like it just took me a while to kind of take it in. Like I had imposter syndrome from the very like moment that they said it was me. But I think I was probably just like thinking, okay, now what? Like, what do I do now? I'm in a couple now, first Black couple to win Love Island. We're not even boyfriend girlfriend. I hope like this isn't gonna put pressure. It did put pressure.
Did it?
A lot of pressure.
Automatically become boyfriend and girlfriend.
Just like people just wanting to like see us all the time, you know. When the first thing I wanted to do was get home as soon as I left. Like that was my priority, like just to be at home for a bit. So I just felt like there was a lot of pressure, but also I was grateful because it's like, wow, like, hello, this is crazy. But yeah.
When you were in there, did you have an inkling that you might win? Like, because it's very hard to tell if someone knows that they're a favourite or...
That's the thing. Like, I feel like when I was in there, initially I was like, okay, I might just last a week. I might not. Do you know what I mean? Like, I didn't know because we watched the show and you know how it is for black girls anyway. But I only got an inkling that I was liked because of like never being in the bottom two.
Okay.
People would sometimes come in and be like, they love you out there. And I'd be like, really? But I thought it was like black Twitter, you know, of course.
Like, people are going to support
you know?
Yeah.
I didn't like know it was like how it actually was.
So you come out, you've won the show and you feel this sense of imposter syndrome and you're trying to figure it out naturally. I think that for me, that was one of the biggest conversations that you're like, this is a completely different life for her. You know, when I was doing the interview planning, I just was thinking, okay, you're someone who had an interest in, you know, fashion, like all of these things loosely, but not to the point where you're actually showing yourself online. You know, there are some cast members who go on the show and they already kind of, not necessarily have a following, but they're already kind of putting that kind of work out there. That wasn't really something that you were doing. So how long do you feel like you had to, did it take you to adjust into this new way of being?
I feel like it's only as of recently that I'm like, I actually really enjoy this. Because back in the day, like when I was young, I used to love like making YouTube videos for myself, you know, putting the camera off and like stuff like that. I was so, that was my fave. So like now that I feel like the noise is it's more quiet, I feel like I can actually enjoy it more than like looking at it as if it's my job. It's more like enjoyable for me to like, now I want to like show off my makeup. But it took a while to get there.
Did it take a while because you were trying to figure out like where do I sit in this? Like what position do I take?
Yeah, kind of exactly figuring out like what exactly I want to do, the type of content I want to do, like how much of myself I want to show, like stuff like that. I was still kind of deciding.
One of the conversations that we were having earlier that I found interesting, because I actually didn't think about this, was, so I saw there was like, globally, everybody loved you. And naturally when people love you, they put, well, not naturally, but sometimes when people love you, they put certain perceptions on you. So they'll be like, oh my gosh, that's our like quiet, you know, elegant, classy, Christian girl. Like she's on this show, she's one,
Right.
And I definitely saw that label deeply thrusted on your back, heavy, you know. And I'm going to break, because I think there's like 1,500 questions here, right? And as I continued on my research, I was like, oh wait, she's actually not, you actually have quite like an edgy side of you.
Girl, I don't have one aesthetic. I like to switch it up. So like people would be like, oh, she's the demure, classy babe. Next thing I'm wearing hot girl clothes. Like,
they're like, where does she sit? Who is she?
But that's just how I am. Like, I like to try different things. Like, I feel like everyone should want to, you 100%. Know, it's never one size fits all. And I think, especially in this space, like if you're labeled one thing, like people kind of expect you to carry that on for your whole career. But things change, you know.
Was that quite easy for you to accept, like when you came out? Because I can imagine if I'm like putting myself in your shoes, right? I come out of the show and, you know, there's this perception about me that and it's kind of, I feel like it would be easy for someone to just adhere to that perception without knowing. So how was that for you? How was because I think, like you said, now you can definitely tell there's a shift where you seem like you're a lot more comfortable in the space, you're a lot more seated and like, you know what I mean, like really figuring it out now for real. But when you first came out, was there an initial pull to be something based off of like the perception that, you know, everybody else was giving you?
I feel like that's what I was scared of. I didn't want to feel like I was being someone that I'm not. So that's why, again, it took time for me to kind of show myself, because it's like, I don't want to do something just because everyone's expecting me to do it, or I don't want to go down this path because I want to do it because it feels right. Yeah.
And what was the process like in terms of getting you to that place where you're like, okay, I'm getting this?
I think kind of understanding that people have a perception of me based off what they saw of me on the show. So I was kind of understanding that they think I'm this way because of the clips that they've seen. So it's like, it's up to me to kind of show myself more when I'm ready to. of who I actually am and what they can expect.
Like a more fuller scope of you.
Yeah.
One of the things I remember, and we couldn't find this anywhere, but I remember there was like a tweet. It was a video of you. It was either a video or a picture, and maybe you were holding a Bible, maybe you were reading a verse. I don't know. You were doing something that tied you to Christianity, right? And I remember the conversation on Twitter at that point. It'll be good to actually know if you remember this or if you saw this at all. But there was a conversation on Twitter that was like, that makes sense. It was kind of like she's like a typical like Christian girl. I don't know if you ever saw
I don't think so.
Basically there was a clip or something like that, and the sentiment was that she's being super kind in her approach with these guys and her way of dealing with, the situation, like with Ayo or whoever it was with, right? So because you're, like you said, we obviously now know the fullness of it. You went through a transition that kind of led you to becoming a lot more graceful in your approach with men and dealing with people in general, right? But obviously from this side of things, they're getting this as like this is who she is. And so there was a clip of you that people saw, and it didn't go crazy viral like that, but it was definitely a conversation where people were like, oh, okay, that now it all makes sense now. I don't know if you get what I mean, but like that's that sense of like, oh, she's a Christian girl. That's why she's so reserved and soft in her approach of dealing with people. And so I bring that up because it sparked in a conversation that we were even having today where we were like, okay, so what does it mean to be a Christian girl, a woman of faith who is able to go on a show like Love Island, where you're like, does that mean that you're not necessarily living, how do I even word this, that you're not necessarily living by the standard that you're supposed to be living in? Because if we're looking at, Love Island as a blank for what it is, it's a show that, in order for you to find, like, it's lust.
Yeah.
It's gonna, you're gonna show elements of yourself. Obviously, not everybody comes onto the show like, yeah, I'm about to be like blissful and that's how you're gonna find love. Like, some people did it in the way that you've done it, or some people might have like different intention. But at the core of it, when we're looking at the show for what it is, it's very easy to be like, this is a show that sits outside of what you would expect a Christian woman to do.
And that's kind of something I was a bit cautious of going in, because like I'm never gonna shy away from being the fact that I'm a Christian. Like, I believe in God, like, period. I know that I might not. This is another thing of like people's expectations of me. Like, everyone's journey is different and everyone knows that. So I feel like the way I carry myself on the show isn't exactly how you should or shouldn't. Do you know what I mean? It's depending on who you are as a person. Even like the whole church situation, I didn't go back to the church I started with because of the way that stuff happened whilst I was gone, basically.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so it's more of a disheartening thing because it's like, I never claimed to be the perfect sort of person that, or that I'm an example. I just spoke about my love for God, and this is the reason I'm here, because it is the reason I'm here, So it's difficult, but then it's kind of a thing where at the end of the day, it doesn't faze me how people may perceive me, because you don't actually know what it is like for me and my relationship with God anyway. Does that make sense?
No, it makes complete sense. It's interesting. I not once did I even think about what that would have, what message or how did your church community like would have felt.
It was very interesting. Yeah.
What was that like?
Disheartening. Like when I came off, like I was looking forward to going back there, but it's like now that I know what happened.
Was it that you heard that things had happened?
Yeah, my mama told me.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, it's just the thing where it's like, maybe thank you for like bringing me closer to God, but maybe this isn't the church that I feel like I can be my true self in. Because you guys don't actually know I carried myself very, like I didn't do anything crazy. To an extent.
I don't think so.
Versus what could have happened.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a difficult one, because at the same time, I know there's some things that I'm gonna get there when I get there. Like some things that is completely gonna strip back from me. I won't do certain things because I feel like my discernment's come to that point.
And I think that, I'm so happy we're having this conversation, because it speaks truth to the reality of conviction. Like, conviction comes at a different time for everybody, because there are certain things in my life now that, boy, if you told me, just even a year ago, Wunmi, you're not going to do that, I'd be like,
because you'll feel it in your gut.
Why would I
like,
not?
Yeah, because it's this whole switch.
It's a process.
Yeah, and you suddenly feel like, no, I definitely can't do that right now.
Is there anything that you're seeing now that you like that, because for you to make a statement like, okay, you know, there might be a point where I might feel like, okay, this isn't appropriate, or I don't want to do this, as your walk deepens, or as your understanding or whatever gets stronger, right? Are there things now, a year coming out, that you are like, okay, how do I really feel about this, and what does my faith actually say about this, and what side am I on?
And it's real, because like I'm getting there now, because post leaving the villa, I'll be so honest, like my relationship with God wasn't the best.
Yeah.
I wasn't praying as much as I was back then. Obviously I didn't have a church at the time because I didn't want to go back to that church. So I feel like now that I'm coming back into that is now when I'm starting to feel like, So the whole thing of communicating with God does actually make a difference. Like that's what actually the discernment comes into, because you're connected with him again, you know?
So you're able to actually hear and know what it is that you're supposed to and not supposed to do. I feel like more than anything, it just sounds like you're still on a process, like we all are. You're still just on a process of journey, like, figuring it out.
Yeah, literally. That's why I don't want anyone to ever think like I'm the most perfect, like, because I'm not. I'm human.
But the thing is that you have the desire to like want to grow in whatever direction you're supposed to grow in.
Yeah.
Which is interesting, because one of the, you know, before we started speaking, I was saying, well, when we were sitting down before the cameras came on, I was like, I have certain assumptions that I make in my mind, and I'm like, I want to see if they're true, or not assumptions, but what do we call it? We said another word that I liked more. Intuition. And so one of the things that I was thinking about is you were initially in mental health, and that was a thing that you were passionate about, and you just said that before you said that it wasn't, you kind of knew like, is this 100% the direction? You were still like figuring it out, right? And I think you get thrusted into a world like social media that has it's like there's certain molds or boxes that you should tick, right? You're either like a hot girl, you know, a beauty influencer, fashion girl, or this girl, or whatever. And it's very easy to just be like, okay, I'm just going to go down this pipeline. And so as I was like preparing for the conversation, I was like, I wonder if there's like any parts of you that, again, still in the process, but I wonder if there's any parts of you that's like, you know what, there's other parts of me that I still know with time I'm going to embed into this, meaning like your mental health side. Is that something that you feel like you might go down?
It's I don't know, because I feel differently about this often, but I don't know, because I feel like I'm still young. If things change around, I can always go back. It's always going to be a passion, but I think I looked at this as a like opportunity, so I need to see it out and see if it works for me.
Yeah. Going back into the actual coming out now, what part of the industry, what part of this new world are you enjoying the most? How has it been like really settling into this side of life for you?
I'm enjoying like the opportunities that I've been given, like the events, the networking. I'm just taking like kind of each day as it comes, because it's still quite fresh anyway. But yeah, I think I'm enjoying it. I'm still sussing it out though, because obviously it's complete different life. Yeah.
How's it been making new relationships like within the industry? I guess the good thing about you guys' season especially is that a lot of you had like really close relationships. So it's kind of like, these are, you know, your peoples. But now that you're out, there's, you know, naturally like more people who are drawn to you, who want to get to know you, who want to create, you know, friendships with you, network, etc. So what's that been like? I think one of your friends as well, like that we spoke to, like we were saying earlier, that for me, that is like an amazing pairing for you and so divine. So talk to me about some of the relationships that you've been able to build since coming out.
Yeah, so probably the strongest one since coming out would have been like Olga. Because obviously she reached out to me post Villa to like ask if I'd need help with social media, like taking pictures and stuff. And that came because she had a conversation with God about it. So then we went for a dinner, and then we clicked straight away, and we were talking about how crazy it is, because yeah, like it's crazy. Like my whole social media has changed a lot because of my interactions with her. She's kind of like put a new light into it and like made me think of it in a different way, like a not so scary way, you know. Other people I've met, very much I'd say like industry would be surface level version of me. It's not the same. Like when I interact with people, it's more just like surface level, like because I have such a strong foundation with my friends at home that it's like I don't feel the need to like lean in deeper with new people that I meet, unless if it's like how it was with Olga, like it was so naturally, organically fruitful. Do you know what I mean? It felt right. And I just like to keep my distance sometimes. You know, I like to just.
Do you?
You know?
No,
because I don't know what people's intentions are, and I just don't have the energy to, you know, get deeply invested in something that's not genuine, because you never know. But yeah, no, I wouldn't say I've had a bad experience with anyone though.
I think the good thing about Olga, which just for context, guys, that's like a friend of you, well, a friend now, almost like a sister to you now.
A new sis,
who basically came in and helped you so much. In my conversation with her, I found the story so compelling that like you come out of a show like Love Island, like we were saying, you're not someone who is front facing, or you weren't, right? And so naturally, I think it's only natural to expect that you probably would need help in figuring out, wait a second, how do I take content?
Yeah.
How do I utilize this platform? Where do I go? And where am I? And now you've been blessed with someone who's able to really help you with that, which is amazing. And I think even on the discernment part and, you know, understanding like what relationships are for me, and, you know, I think for me, I think you're going about it like really well and just like gently throwing yourself in there and not just like deep diving and like crashing.
Because that's how you crash.
Immediately as well, by the way, immediately. But I want to talk about something that we didn't touch on. It's kind of us going back just slightly. You know, before we were talking about the transition with your mum and your parents, that dynamic. One of the things that I found out was that your relationship with your dad actually develops off the back of you going on Love Island, or it got better after that?
I think kind of. I feel like before I wouldn't be able to like have a sit down talk with my dad and be like, listen, this or that. Now I feel like I can. I feel like he probably, obviously I'm always going to be his daughter, but he probably sees me more as an adult now than probably before. Don't know why that shift would be, but yeah, I feel more good like communicating with him about certain things.
Was it more difficult before because you felt that sense of that he had, was it that he had left? Like what was the disconnect in the relationship?
Probably built up resentment still. But also because I just lean so much on my mom that it's like, you know, I don't really I don't feel like I need anything from you. But then obviously that's not a healthy way to look at it. But yeah.
And do you feel like you coming off Love Island and has helped you? Was it coming off Love Island, or was it during that period where you were still like healing from like the realization about your mum that led you to becoming more open-minded about building a better relationship with him?
Yeah, I'd say so. I feel like I'm more, you know, the whole grace thing.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm more gracious with him in terms of stuff. Even though like things shouldn't have played out how they played out, I feel like I kind of look at my parents more as if they're figuring out too, you know?
Because they are.
Yeah, so that's why it's easier to have grace. And obviously, like, I'm aware that building resentment up for so long it's not gonna help me. Like, people are still in therapy for stuff like that. So, yeah. Sorry, this eyelash is flickering.
You're all good.
It's all right?
Yeah. Yeah, it's fine. And how has your mum's reaction been to the way you're handling and navigating that relationship with him?
I find it funny because me and my sister send each other memes. You know, like that meme where it's like, why are you talking to my ex? And it's like, it's my dad. Sometimes I feel like she feels that type of way, but she knows that like I love, even though like things have happened, like my love for him is always going to be the same. Like he's my dad.
Yeah.
And she's accepting of that, but obviously. Yeah.
How has that impacted your perception of love now? I think just thinking about everything, because it's so funny having this conversation with you and like being able to actually paint a lot more of a clearer picture of like how things have played out. Now that you are here and you are single and you have won Love Island and you did get in a relationship on Love Island, and before Love Island you had this realization. Where are you at now with love and your understanding of like even the kind of partner you want?
I think I know more now of the type of partner I want. Whereas before it was like, I'd have an inkling, but like, I didn't really know how to put those boundaries really in place as to what I'm looking for. In terms of dating, I don't have like a burning desire to be in a relationship because I want it to naturally fall into place because I don't have time to waste time on a relationship that's not going to be my like lifelong person. So, yeah.
Are you looking? Is it more like you're just easing yourself into this new realm?
I wouldn't say I'm looking because I don't think you should look for love, but I'm open, but then I'm not. I don't know, girl. I don't know. I'm open, but I think there's more of a criteria in my, like a checklist in my mind that I'm taking off.
What are those things now? I'm sure, I would imagine it would have changed a lot off the back of the show and just other past experiences. So what do you feel like there?
Someone who's like self-aware of themselves, because I know everyone's no like the same way I am. Yeah. I'm self-aware, but I'm trying to also not repeat patterns. So someone who's self-aware and not falling into the same patterns or like making the same excuses or mistakes that they've made in the past. Like someone who's sure of what they want in the future and wants to actually implant that. Be, what's the word? Intentional.
Okay.
What was your word?
I said grounded.
And grounded, in fact. Add that in there.
Don't shake too much.
Yeah. And then, someone intentional, grounded, and someone who's like willing to actually court me. Do you know what I mean? And be intentional from the jump. Because this whole thing of, we need to be in a talking stage for this long before you're even my girlfriend. And then how long until I'm your wife? Do you know what I mean? What's the point? So...
And this is why it's so important to just embed God into it, because with that, it'll be so quickly. It's so quick to be like, ooh,
exactly. Because we know what we're doing here, you know?
100%. I say it to my friends all the time, like in my past, like when I was like dating, it would take me like a date or two
to know.
At most, to be like, you're not going to hear back from me on call. I'm so sorry.
And this is my challenge because I feel that way, but then it's like, is this me self-sabotaging or is this actually not?
Well, I think you'll need to look at like the root of it, like where because for me, I remember I was saying, it was to Rita, we were having a conversation. I was saying to her, I was like, when it comes to first dates, I go in there with like questions in mind. I have very clear, like I know my agenda here is to figure out if I'm going to waste my time or if you're the real deal or if you even got some little bit of potential here, you know?
Yeah.
So for me, I have like certain questions. I'm like, hey, so how do you, react in these type of situation? And then she was saying to me, like, don't you feel like that might be a bit like full on, like on the first date? I'm like,
no, that's the right way we should be doing it because it saves time.
Number one. But also I'm like, the way you slide those questions in there, you're not just, it's not
like an interview.
So 1, 2, 3, it's a drive, but it saves you so much time because you're like, okay, the way you've answered that question just shows me that you probably aren't ready for a real relationship.
But I think we're very observant people. Not everyone's like that. I feel like if you have that capability of being observant, you're able to then be like, okay, so this means we might not be compatible.
But I think that's why, even because you're not someone, if you're someone who's not observant, why you would want to meet you.
Yeah.
If anything, you want to have 10 questions just because okay, I might not pick up on this.
Yeah.
Because we've got to save our time here. But anyway, this is
true, guys.
This has been amazing. Before we round off the conversation, I've got something for you. No, it's nothing bad.
Okay.
It's been good.
It has
been all good.
It has been.
I feel like you actually poured even more than I expected today. I feel like you've said a lot.
I didn't even expect that. That's good, I think.
Babe, I don't know how
I didn't even expect to pour that much.
As in, within the first 5 minutes, I'm a bit like, whoa, okay, there's a lot to unpack. And I think even now, like with where you are, I think naturally, you're 25. I feel like naturally there's going to be so much that we're going to see unfold with you, not to, speak too much on your life journey, but I just think we're just like scratching the surface, even for yourself to even see that. So yeah, with that being said, we got you a little gift in a Bello box.
Oh my God.
Just a little cute something. Let me bring that here. It's something crazy, but we were in our conversation. I was like, so what is Mimi, like, what is she like? What's her steez? Like, what's she on? And the girls were saying that you're a snacker, like you love good food. So I thought, okay, if she pours, if she's going to need something to just digest. Like this, it's been a long hour. So I got you. So they told me, actually, you know what? Let me let you open this. Wait, did you see already?
No,
okay, great. Wait, let me.
No, this is good because I'm actually hungry.
Oh, you. Look at this. They said this is your favorite snack.
I love it. Okay.
And then we coupled it with things that would go with
chutney, okay.
And then something to put on.
Oh, it's just like, it's the plate.
Yeah, because we don't really know how, you eat it or what happens.
This is going to look so good in my kitchen.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes, it is.
Housewarming gift?
Yes, exactly.
For you.
Guys, check it out.
But yeah, guys, round of applause, everybody. You did so good, Mimi. Thank you, babe.
Thank you so much.
I'm so proud of you.